Hey everybody, Trolley Boy here, the troll you can trust, back with the Walking Dead Road Survive video, featuring Naya, the Firestarter. And just to make sure I'm saying it right,
Naya.
boom! Naya, aka Disaster Girl meme, because it all makes sense that the little girl is Naya, and now we know for certain who burnt down that house. We now know. Time to put your feet to the fire, Firestarter. Listen up, kids. Naya is living the dream you've always wanted when you were going through your pyromaniac stage. Or hell, some of you still haven't gotten out of that stage yet, which I don't blame you, as I think we all would love a weapon on fire when beating the shit out of walkers. Now listen up, parents. This is why we don't let our kids play with fire, as I sure as hell would not want my genetic code running around with fire weapons at age of whatever. Visual design I love, and it mixes in with her adrenaline rush too. Naya coming into battle with two one-handers, on fire, like she's from Cirque du Soleil, and since she wields two one-handers, she attacks twice. Think of hitting with each hand, slicing with some damage. And to top it all up, she will burn you in the physical sense, and I love how they also threw in the healing reduction too, because if your ass is burning, it should be difficult to heal. So I say bravo from a design and RP perspective. Taking a look at her stats, her attack stat is looking great at 2006 and recommended to skill with a leadership skill and weapon mod. Defense and health are low, but it looks like it is the standard average of effective health with her defense and should handle well on offense, where there won't be a lot of focus on her. Before we move on, I want to point out something very interesting. See that survivor above Naya? I think these are going to accomplish great, no, amazing things. I don't know about you, but being able to bleed and burn the shit out of my enemy gives me a rock hard thumbs up. Her adrenaline rush is Inferno Blast, which does 2 attacks of 300% damage, making a grand total of it just being one hit of 600% damage. Also, 2 enemies will be afflicted with 600 burn damage and 50% heal reduction for 2 turns, allowing you to spread a 600 damage burn the following turn with her specialist skill. And her specialist skill is something new to the game, and it's called Firestarter. So when Naya attacks someone that has a burn debuff on them, she will make a copy of that burn effect to an enemy directly next to them. It's her special way of spreading her love. Her active skill is no surprise to me. It's burn. She will apply a 500 burn damage for 2 turns to one enemy, resulting in her active over 2 turns doing 1000 burn damage. Her weapon might be one of my favorite looking in the game, even better than some of the chainsaws, because I was actually chainsaw was a personal favorite of mine, but these knives on fire never seem to go out, so yes please. Now there are some situations where it sucks liquid booty to get an item that is glued to a survivor, but having a weapon that starts with 30% attack and has an offensive special stat for a good bit of burn damage, which burn and bleed as an example act as a true damage, as there's no percent damage reduction that you can take against it. So hypothetically, every attack, Naya can do some raw damage from a basic attack and a better chance to apply 400 burn damage that will cause no AP gain for the enemy. So when looking at her weapons here, we're going to also kind of mix in some leadership skills with an AP generation when attacking and when there isn't an AP generation when attacking. This first one, if you happen to have an AP when attacking leadership skill and you happen to craft 1 AP bonus, changing that medium to a very large or a huge, and add 2 buff to her attack, trying to go to 40%. And if you're looking for a turn 2 minimum, turn 3 maximum AR usage for your team, then you can take this brute force approach, but I would recommend you bringing the heaviest of other hitters alongside with this survivor, because you're going to need to output some serious damage. And this is one of 2 ways to get her burn damage from her specialist skill going and spreading. So with this weapon setup, we're going to be using an AP when attacking leadership skill, and if you're comfortable with that, then we will have the attack boost, so we're going to load everything up on her attack skill, going as close to 45% attack as we can, crafting her weapon. And since her AR is a double attack, it can crit, allowing you to throw some serious numbers up. If you take this route and put someone on your team that has 8% AP to your team at the start of the wave, you can command her turn 2 and begin to set the world on fire. This is the second way to get her burn damage numbers going and spreading if you want to use the turn 2 adrenaline rush strat. These last 2 weapon mods will show if you don't have a leader with an AP generation. Should you put an upgraded AP when attacking mod on her weapon and put 2 in her attack, or just put all 3 crafts in her attack? Here we have 1 in our AP when attacking and 2 in buffing her attack. If we play this out, we can strongly see that this is pretty much set in stone for when Naya will be using her Adrenaline Rush. Of course, these numbers are what is likely to happen and not what will happen every time, so unless you can run an AP when taking damage team and Naya gets focused hard turn 1, I really do see these turn plannings holding some merit. Now for this final weapon, if we look at what our Adrenaline Rush will be turn 3, just on basic attacks, we can see we'll be at 75 AP. Now, out of 3 turns for Naya to get hit 1 time is extremely likely. Even if she is defended with a Guardian Shield, that still gives 1 AP if someone was to remove it. Unless you're running a human shield on offense, to make it damn sure Naya is never hit, I would consider this weapon setup with an attack plus crit leadership skill better. All you need is just to get hit 1 time, and the Adrenaline Rush pop-off will be the same turn, but here you get to have that extra 5% attack if you get lucky in that craft. So, those matches where you lost due to that glitter of HP, this might be the better route. Let me know what you all think of this weapon setup and theory craft. Is there something I happen to miss? Do you agree or disagree? So combat mods are interesting as I feel there is a special survivor intent you can set up and pair her up with, making your choice of combat mods different. I think this would be a nice high damage output choice of combat mods with attack versus red or blue, as Naya's strengths comes from setting blues on fire due to the trade advantages, and reds are just a byproduct when chasing blues. Confuse resist, as burning your teammates is not a good way to make friends. Bleed on attack, as having another stacking form of true damage wouldn't hurt, especially if you have a survivor like Lacerator Shiva on your team. This other set of combat mods is if you love critting, then this will satisfy your craving. Huge critties and burn them after. So let's take a look at some team comps with Naya. The Rick Rise Power team rocking 38 or 40 AP per attack, meaning you have a very large or huge AP when attacking on your weapon, giving you the ability to curb stomp the other team on turn 2. So for this, I would put bleed on attack mods on everybody except Yellow Shiva, and have Yellow Shiva attack last. Let's just say 4 gold combat mods that have 125 bleed, which is on the lower end of the range, and for the sake of easier math. Those 4 combined would be 500 bleed damage, and that would result in 1000 bleed damage from Yellow Shiva, and if Naya's burn on her weapon procs, that is 400 extra damage, making it a total of 1400 bonus damage just from bleed and burn. Okay. First off, the guy that you just heard talking, he's an idiot. Don't listen to him. Dumbass. He lied. It ain't 1400. The answer is actually 1800. So every time you hear 1400, the answer is actually 1800. Carry on. Every turn. We also need to take into account the basic attack damage too. So it's 1400 plus damage. Easily probably could get to 2k damage per turn without even using any adrenaline rushes, which is pretty insane, considering there's not one single blue character on this team with a double attack weapon. The Winter Jesus team will work very similar to the Rick Rise Power team, and it will also help a little more if the range team you are versing is more red heavy than blue. Giving you the ability to lower the enemy defense for a better shot of a kill is a good strategy. So on the Connor team, if you are mostly free to play and you were lucky enough to get Romanov through a lucky token pull, and Naya through a pull from coins with Tapjoy or the monthly pass, this team could shred some faces and neuter some balls. The Connor Glenn combo can make your team feel like this. And once Connor uses his Adrenaline Rush, the next turn, Romanov should kill 2, and Naya should kill 2 as well, leaving a nasty burn on anybody left. If you happen to be a player with free-to-play tunes and no premieres, and you just happen to pull Naya, and you got here is a decent, well-sustained setup, and I would personally feel good about auto-playing against a match in my favor. This team gets you a command, heals, defense buffs, high attack buffs, enemy defense buffs, removes enemy defense buffs, burns, impairs, absolute defenses, recover, impairs, recover, and stuns, just for starters. So if I own Sadiq, Javier, and Naya, this would actually be one of the first teams I would test out of the list that I have here. And so we're going to wrap up the video of Naya. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video and made you laugh before anything positive, please give a nice karate chop to that like and subscribe button. Make sure to leave a comment down below. It's of course greatly appreciated. And other than that, I will catch you all in the next video.